This is my audience. I'm Alina Fernandez, and this is the Gettysburg Address by Abraham Lincoln, and this speech was delivered on November 19th, 1863. 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place. For those who here gave their lives, that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, and we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men living and dead who struggled here have consecrated it, far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little not nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we highly here resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that the government of the people by the people for the people shall not perish from earth. Abraham Lincoln's speech was around the time that the Civil War was happening, and our country was facing a major division, and he needed to acknowledge not just the leaders, but he also wanted to question the citizens of the U.S. at the time as well. In his speech, he talks about Lincoln starts by reminding everyone that the U.S. was founded on one singular idea, that all men were created equal. And this was really important because his speech was so short but so powerful by giving that message, because everyone was questioning themselves if all men were equal and if they were going to get through the Civil War. He also talks about honoring the fallen soldiers on the land that have now sacrificed it, that sacrificed their lives during the war. However, he also questions the living as well. He also asks them to step up and play a huge role in trying to help the division in the country and really try to get them all to come together, because that was his whole purpose throughout this whole message. He frames that the Civil War was a test to see if a country based on freedom and democracy can actually survive what was going on at the time. And I think that by delivering this speech, he did a very good job at bringing them all together and bringing everyone in, and he did really well by saying this speech so powerfully that everyone at the time did come together. And I think it was a very powerful speech, and everything that he said was very heartfelt and very important for everyone to hear. Thank you.